Okay, so yeah, I've been asked to talk about regional coordination in action on how big projects can be managed and implemented in quite a complex environment like ours. So in the next slide, what you see is, as Pahendra has already explained, in 2009. The then Indonesian president, inspired five country leaders in our region to come together and sign a leaders' declaration to officially form what is known as the CTI-CFF, or Coral Triangle Initiative on Coral Reefs, Fisheries and Food Security. Now, it is the first of its kind in that it focuses on food security through sustainable management of marine natural resources, taking into consideration climate change impacts and implications. The vision, as highlighted back then, was to sustain the most extraordinary marine and coastal resource in the Coral Triangle region by addressing crucial threats adversely impacting the climate, marine biodiversity, and food security, which was eloquently explained to us by Pahendra. I'm not going to cover this because Pahendra made a very good presentation on this, but basically what's shown over here is very similar to what Pahendra had explained earlier on, and that is that it is an area of high biodiversity content, especially in the reef coral species, as well as the fish species, and the coastal protection and blue carbon that we have in the region. It is truly an amazing region, and it is worth protecting and sustaining for not just the citizens and generations today, but for future and upcoming generations. Now, like every multilateral agreement in the world, it needs an engine room, and the engine room comes in the form of a secretariat. Now, for the CTI-CFF, the regional secretariat was officially established in 2015 with the appointment of the first executive director, who was an Indonesian, and it is headquartered in Manado, Indonesia. The role of the secretariat at its establishment was to enable collaboration amongst the countries initially, and also with partners that work in this area. And all that collaboration was put in place to ensure that the benefits of marine and coastal resources was flowing to the people in the region, as I said, for current and future generations. The other aspect of the work that was installed at that time was to seek to address economic, social, and ecological drivers at all scales and institutional levels, and also to facilitate regional collaboration through coordination of efforts around sustainable development policies and practices, primarily in the area of marine resource management. And finally, it was set up to promote cooperation for the sustainable use of marine resources by combining solid conservation actions with good governance, while also recognizing the distinct political, economic, environmental, and social challenges of each of the individual member countries. The work that the regional secretariat does is actually administered and governed through the regional plan of action. And as Pahendra explained earlier on, the current regional plan of action is for the period 2021 to 2030. So we're halfway there in terms of its implementation. And this regional plan of action reflects the responsibilities, priorities, and mandates as set out in the establishment of the CTI-CFF organization when it was established way back in 2009. The regional plan of action has got 3 objectives, as you can see on the slide, right? And it's got 7 targets. The first objective is centered around improving ecosystems health and fisheries. The second objective is on improved resilience and socio-economic conditions in the 6 countries. And the third one mainly focuses on good governance and effective leadership and partnership. So the work that we are currently doing revolves around those 3 objectives. Now, there are 7 targets in the regional plan of action. I want to make mention over here that those 7 targets are important in the context of the coordination work that we are doing with regards to the implementation of the SOMACORE project. In terms of its governance, the CTI-CFF is actually governed by a Council of Ministers, followed by the Committee of Senior Officials. So that's where much of the decision-making process is made. Underneath the Committee of the Senior Officials, we then have the National Coordinating Committee. So each of the 6 countries in the CTI-CFF has got an individual National Coordinating Committee. The Regional Secretariat is then established to serve the National Coordinating Committees through the work that it does using the RPOA as its guide. Now, below that, the technical working groups, the other working groups in governance, and the initiatives surrounding cross-cutting issues. Now, as you can see, right at the bottom right-hand side, we have the partners, both strategic partners, collaborators, and others that work within the Coral Triangle region in helping to promote and progress the work that we are doing as contained in the regional plan of action. These are in more detail what those technical working groups are. So the technical working group mainly focuses around marine protected areas, work in seascape, ecological approaches to fisheries management or EAFM, threatened species, and climate change adaptation. The governance work areas revolve around internal resource committee, financial resource working group, and monitoring and evaluation. And then the cross-cutting issues around JESI or Women's Leadership Forum, Sustainable Business Forum, and also our link to the scientific community through the University Partnership and the Science Advisory Committee Group. Now, changing a bit to focus on the SOMACORE project. The SOMACORE project has got 10 partners who are all working together to implement various components of the project. Now, as you can imagine, the political partners are the 6 countries, the governments of the 6 countries, working collaboratively with the regional secretariat and the 10 partners who are implementing the SOMACORE project. Now, the SOMACORE project has got 3 main outputs. The first revolves around the application of regional and national policy frameworks, particularly in the application to good governance regimes and management in MPAs. The second component is on scaling up proven ecosystems resource management effective area-based conservation practices. And then the last one is on making sure that whatever happens in this project or the efforts that the country members have done in terms of the implementation of the SOMACORE project, again recognition, and through the regional secretariat get promoted at a much wider regional and global level. Now, I thought I'd put this in to explain why it is important to have this regional coordination work happen. Now, as you can see on the left-hand side, these are all the partners who are involved in the SOMACORE project. And right on the right at the end on the right hand side are the countries in which they are going to be operating in the work that they do. And the work that they do contain in the focus or theme area. So for example, IUCN will be working in the marine protected area as well as knowledge management areas. WWF Pacific, which is solely working in the Solomon Islands as well as the Bismarck Solomon Sea, will concentrate on seascape, MPAs, threatened species, and gender, while CTC, which is the Coral Triangle Center based in Bali, will work on seascape, MPA capacity building, and knowledge management, for example. So I wanted to make mention of this because the focus areas are what connects the SOMACORE project to the regional plan of action. So if we go back and have a look at this slide again, the 7 targets that you see over there and the focus areas that are covered by each of these partners have to match. And the next 3 slides, it takes the SOMACORE outputs and then links the work programs to each of those 7 targets in the regional plan of action. So this is really the gist of what the SOMACORE project is doing in working to address the targets that have been set out in the RPOA. So this is output number 1. So as you can see, the output number 1 relates to nearly all the targets. This is output number 2 in the SOMACORE project and how it relates or aligns to all the targets in the regional plan of action. And output number 3 focuses mainly on the objective 3 with its target C on governance, effective leadership, and partnership. So the 3 outputs of the SOMACORE project align very, very strongly or align very, very well to the regional plan of action. So it's a very good natural marriage between the regional plan of action and what the SOMACORE project is trying to achieve. Again, the working through the technical working groups, the regional secretariat is assisting the SOMACORE project by coordinating efforts to organize activities through the various technical working groups as well as the cross-cutting initiatives that we are working on. The areas of work that are very strongly linked to the SOMACORE project are MPAs, seascapes, threatened species, and also the Women's Leadership Forum. Now this project over here, this slide over here articulates the work that we do, the approach that we have used. And as you can see, the first one is in entering into partnership with the partners and working collaboratively to organize the work. The second part is allowing the SOMACORE project to utilize the CTI-CFF working group system to organize and coordinate project activities to be undertaken at the regional and national levels. The third one is to do promotion and advocacy work for the project and connecting partners to countries where the work is going to be conducted. The fourth one is working with partners in organizing meetings and discussing regional, sub-regional, and national priorities and plans. At this juncture, I just want to make sure you get your focus on the photos that are on the right-hand side. The photo at the top was taken in Dili in Timor-Leste, where one of the two of the partners in the SOMACORE project, Conservasi Indonesia and Conservation International Timor-Leste, came together to hold the first discussions, the sub-regional discussions for the Lesser Sunda seascape area. So that is part of the implementation of the SOMACORE project. And the picture at the bottom left is one of the more technically oriented workshops that was conducted again at the same meeting in Delhi in May this year. And finally, in the approaches that we use, we work collaboratively with the CT6 countries and the partners in the implementation of the project activities. So that's the approach that we are using. Now, in terms of the outcomes and results that we have seen so far, there is a growing number of formal partnerships that have been established. The regional secretariat with the supporting partners for SOMACORE, but also the countries are becoming more and more familiar with the work of the partners. So in that way, they can be able to work together and get the work done quickly at the national level. The second outcome that we have witnessed is the CTICFF working groups have been supported and utilized by the development partners to develop the SOMACORE work projects. In doing so, we also do a promotion of the project through that mechanism as well. As I said earlier on, the CT6 countries are now better aware of the SOMACORE project and the work that it will be doing, they will be doing in the respective countries. The third one is that the regional secretariat is facilitating the regional, sub-regional, and national dialogues, and this has resulted in very specific priorities and plans determined and realized at both the national and the sub-regional as well as regional levels. And finally, the CT6 countries and their partners are now working on the implementation of the project activities as part of the country's national plans of action. So in terms of challenges, what we have encountered in the region in the last 18 months or so is that not all countries are at the same planning level. And they have very varying absorptive capacity. The integration of the partners' work plans into the NPAs, that's an area that is developing, but it's progressing quite nicely. The third one is that the CT6 countries' slowness in getting the national plans of actions developed and formally approved. So in terms of official work that needs to be done at the country level, once the NPOAs are properly or formally approved, then they become authorized government documents under which investment can be then provided for the work to be done. So that's a challenge that we are working with. The other challenge is that the CT6 countries are not driving the project implementation in a timely manner. By that we mean, the request for information and trying to get people to be responsive. It's not happening in a timely fashion, but it's improving as time progresses. Hosting and facilitation of regional, sub-regional, and national meetings. Sometimes we have conflicting times, venues, cost sharing systems, and all that sort of thing. It can be challenging, but we are learning from them and organizing the meetings better. And finally, the CT6 countries and the partners communicating regularly to work on the implementation of the project activities as part of the national plans of action. This is an area that we have seen a bit of challenge initially, but as time progresses and the partners become aware of the country's priorities, that is now beginning to change and happening in a much better fashion now. So in terms of conclusion, the SOMACORE project is now fully established and operational in the Coral Triangle region. The CTICFF systems has been successfully utilized to promote and establish this very important project in the region, and the CT6 countries are now aware of the project itself in what they will be doing in their respective countries. The CT6 countries and the partners will strengthen their collaboration and implementation of the project activities as part of the country's national plans of actions. And the most satisfying thing about all of this, and once the project is completed, that the targets that we have put together in the regional plan of action are achieved. So we can be able to have a much better analysis or a report in as far as the achievements in the RPOA 2.0 are concerned. So with those few slides, I want to thank everyone for your attention, and